I never thought I'd have to do a video like this, like ever, but directives. The reason I'm so kind of salty, because if I sound salty, it's because I am salty, over doing a video like this is because during my time in the army, which I've had no secret about, we had an expression, teach you to suck eggs, which is basically meaning this topic is so boring and dull that if you don't know it or understand it, then you've got bigger issues than the actual topic at hand. So, a lot of you might be clicking on this thinking, oh, maybe there's some hidden thing with directives. There actually isn't. The game literally tells you all you need to know about directives. But for like the 5th time now, like 5 times in 5 days, I have had arguments with people about how directives actually work. And I've had to find sources, dev posts, etc., before they actually take my word for it. See, the simple fact is, directives will increase your XP, depending if you're open world or summit, by X amount. In the open world, it's like 25% per directive, giving you an increase of 125%. In summit, I think it's still 25%. I don't actually know. Summit is dead. Floor 10 died. I don't go there. I'm pretty sure no one goes there. So it might still be 25% in summit, giving you a stupid amount. But problem here lies that, yeah, no one goes to summit and the XP in summit is trash. Now, another thing that directives do is it increases your drop rate of your loot, specifically targeted loot. Now, to show this, I put Lincoln Memorial on. I'm using Golden Bullet just because I'm trying to get through it as quick as possible with no directives, which is what I'm doing here. The footage is sped up to like 400% because I'm pretty sure, considering pretty much every build video I see is people just doing Lincoln, which is like the easiest mission in the game. It's like, well done, good showcase, idiot. We've all seen Lincoln a million times. And during this, I kept track of my loot drops. Generalized loot pool, which is just going to be dropped. And then there's going to be my targeted. They don't add together. So if I got 5 drops and 3 targeted, that means out of my 5 drops, 3 of them were of the targeted loot. Targeted loot for Lincoln Memorial on this particular given day is Seska. So yeah, I just kept track of them. During my run through with no directives, I got a total of 11 drops and 4 of which were my targeted Seska loot pool. After running this with no directives, I then engaged in the most boring thing ever, which is running the same mission twice. Snore. But I put directives on and kept track of my loot. I got a grand total of 15 drops, 7 of which were targeted with 4 directives because I couldn't be bothered with Pistolero. Wanted to get through this nice, quick and easy, and I'm not the best headhunter in the game using Regulus, etc. So, I mean, I'm not sure if this is going to be typical. I don't actually know how much the targeted loot increases with more directives. From doing a little bit of research, it seems to be it's about 2 to 3% per directive, but it will increase your drop rates. Now, the reason I say this is like sucking eggs or teaching people to suck eggs, and trust me, because little do you know, before joining the army, I used to be a primary school teacher. Yeah, me. Round kids sounds like a hell of a good way to get someone on a list, but still, the reason I say this is like sucking eggs is because the game literally tells you. Next time you're in the game, open up the map, go to the world settings or whatever and highlight directives. You will see this lovely little paragraph. Activating directives will let you change how you play the game. You can have more than one directive active at the same time. Activating directives will give you extra XP. Each active directive slightly increases the chance for a targeted loot item to drop alongside a normal loot drop. So yeah, the difference between my 11 and 15 drops between having directives and not having directives is rather negligible. It's an increase of 4. This is just down to pure RNG. However, my targeted loot drops went from 4 to 7, literally one below doubling. So it's clearly having an effect, and I was only running 4 directives. So why is this like, as I said earlier, teaching people to suck eggs? Because I'm teaching you to read. Just read the game. It's amazing how much information is actually out there. You just need to read it. Right, anyway, saltiness over. Hopefully I didn't come across too much of a dick. If I did, sorry, not sorry. But directives. Why do we use them? You will typically find that a lot of higher level players, as well as typically I would actually argue some of the more skilled players in this game, regularly play with directives. Fog of War being one of the main ones, simply because it increases your overall situational awareness within the game. You're no longer relying on the minimap. The minimap is actually no good to you. I actually kind of wish they just, with the Fog of War directive, they just flat out removed it, rather than have it there and just be this useless waste of space in the corner. Next we have, at the moment we have fragile armor. Directives do change per season. Sometimes we get fragile armor. Each time it breaks we lose a certain portion permanently until we use an armor kit. Another one that we tend to get is armor just doesn't regen. Even out of combat it just doesn't regen. I much prefer that one, not because fragile armor is hard to deal with, it just very much bugs out regularly, so I hate it. Armor directives will teach you better positioning and a way in which to manage your own survivability without relying on those pesky redundant blue cores. Pistolero, this is one that comes up a lot, and the easiest way to get around Pistolero is just get yourself a Regulus. I know, so easy, right? However, Pistolero will teach you that DPS is king, because you have to manage your ammo more precisely. After that we typically have a skill orientated one, either cool skills or scavenge skills. Scavenge skills can actually be seen as a little bit of a buff, because rather than relying on cooldowns, just kill things quick enough and you are essentially able to just spam your skills all over the place. Cool skills can be a bit annoying. Throw your drone out, your revive hive goes on cooldown. Your revive hive has like a 3-minute cooldown. If you go down and your revive hive picks you up, your turret's on cooldown or your healing mechanism is on cooldown. It can get a bit annoying, but it does teach you to juggle your skills appropriately, as well as, depending on what skill you're using, it will also teach you a greater way to play. After that we have special ammo. Special ammo is probably the blight of literally every endgame player I know, just because one bleed bullet magically seems to be able to one-shot you. Well, it doesn't one-shot you, it leaves you with 2 health, which the bleed will soon finish off. Disorient is absolutely cancerous. Disrupt can be annoying, and for some dumb reason outcasts get fire bullets, despite the fact that they have a support ammo crate guy who also puts down shock rounds. It's absolutely lovely being set on fire and shocked while simultaneously being shot. It's 10 out of 10, please daddy, hurt me again. Overall, directives are a great way to 1. Increase your XP, 2. Get better loot in general, as well as increase the rate in which you're able to farm the pieces you are after, but they also do absolutely increase the way in which you play the game. They just generally make you better. Sure, you can start out struggling, but if you persevere and learn from your mistakes, you will eventually become a better player overall. I am a huge advocate for directives. I typically always play with 2 or 3. If I'm feeling ballsy, I sometimes do like to get a little bit sweaty and put 5 on. I know a lot of people that literally scoff at you the moment you go below 4, regardless of the content they're doing. It's always great fun trying to do a legendary stronghold on like 4, 5 directives. It's also kind of hilarious. Anyway, that is going to do me for this sucking egg salty video. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.